Did you know that some of the foods sitting in your kitchen right now, foods you've probably eaten your entire life without a second thought, could be quietly working against you the moment you cross 40? Hi, I'm Dr. Vilson, and on this channel, we talk about the health signals your body sends you that most people completely ignore. And today's topic is one that affects almost everyone once they hit their 40s. It's not about your genetics, it's not about bad luck, and it's definitely not something you have to just accept as getting older. The truth is, your body changes dramatically after 40, your metabolism slows down, your hormones shift, your digestion becomes more sensitive, and the foods that your body handled easily at 25 can start causing real problems now. Things like weight gain that won't budge no matter what you do, joint pain that seems to come from nowhere, brain fog that makes you forget why you walked into a room, and even long-term risks to your heart and your liver. Today, I'm going to walk you through the foods you need to seriously cut back on, or eliminate completely if you're over 40 and you want to feel strong, sharp, and healthy for the next several decades of your life. And stick around until the end, because the last one on this list is something almost everyone eats daily without even realizing the damage it can cause over time. Welcome back to the channel where we break down your health in a way that actually makes sense. No confusing jargon, just real, practical information you can use starting today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because every week we cover exactly this kind of information. The stuff your doctor might not have time to fully explain during a 15-minute appointment. And if you're already part of this community, go ahead and tap that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need to hear this, especially people in their 40s, 50s and beyond, who are trying to take control of their health before small issues become big ones. Let's start with the first food group you need to seriously rethink after 40, and that's refined sugar, especially the hidden kind found in sodas, flavored coffees, pastries, and packaged snacks. When you were younger, your body could process sugar spikes relatively efficiently, your insulin sensitivity was higher, and your metabolism could burn through excess glucose without much trouble. But after 40, insulin sensitivity naturally starts to decline, which means your body doesn't handle sugar the same way it used to. Regularly consuming high amounts of sugar during this stage of life significantly increases your risk of developing insulin resistance, which is essentially the first step toward type 2 diabetes. On top of that, sugar contributes to inflammation throughout your entire body, and chronic inflammation has been linked to nearly every major health issue we worry about as we age, including heart disease, joint pain, and even cognitive decline. Many people don't realize just how much added sugar is hiding in foods that don't even taste particularly sweet, like pasta sauces, salad dressings, and flavored yogurts. If you're over 40, it's worth actually reading the labels on foods you buy regularly because you might be surprised at how much sugar you're consuming without even choosing to. The second food to seriously reduce is processed deli meat, things like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and packaged cold cuts. These foods are often loaded with sodium and preservatives called nitrates, which have been linked in numerous studies to an increased risk of certain cancers, particularly colorectal cancer, when consumed regularly over long periods of time. In your 20s and 30s, your body might handle occasional processed meat without major consequences, but after 40, your cellular repair processes slow down, meaning any damage caused by these preservatives has less chance of being efficiently corrected by your body. Additionally, the high sodium content in processed meats puts extra strain on your cardiovascular system, and since blood pressure tends to naturally creep up with age, adding more sodium into the mix on a regular basis is simply not doing your heart any favors. This doesn't mean you need to eliminate deli meat completely forever, but treating it as an occasional food rather than a daily staple can make a meaningful difference over the years. Sign number 3, or rather food number 3, is fried food, particularly foods fried in reused vegetable oils, which unfortunately describes most fast food and a lot of restaurant food. When oil is heated repeatedly at high temperatures, it forms compounds that are genuinely harmful to your body, including trans fats and oxidized lipids. These compounds contribute to arterial plaque buildup, which becomes an increasingly serious concern after 40 because your arteries naturally lose some of their elasticity with age. Fried foods are also incredibly calorie dense while offering very little nutritional value, which means they contribute heavily to weight gain, and after 40, weight gain tends to accumulate specifically around the abdomen, an area linked to higher risks of heart disease and metabolic syndrome. If you love fried food, and honestly, most people do, consider baking or air frying at home using healthier oils like olive oil or avocado oil, which gives you a similar satisfying texture without nearly as much damage to your arteries. The fourth food category is refined carbohydrates, things like white bread, white rice, and most packaged crackers and cereals. These foods have had their fiber stripped away during processing, which means they get digested extremely quickly and cause rapid spikes in blood sugar. After 40, your body becomes less efficient at managing these blood sugar spikes, and repeated spikes over time contribute to insulin resistance, increased fat storage, and persistent fatigue. That frustrating feeling of being tired despite eating what feels like plenty of food. Swapping refined carbohydrates for whole grain, alternatives like brown rice, quinoa, or whole wheat bread provides more fiber, which slows digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and keeps you feeling full for longer, something your body will genuinely thank you for as you get older. Number 5 is excessive alcohol consumption, and I want to be clear here, this isn't about telling you to never enjoy a glass of wine again. It's about understanding how your relationship with alcohol needs to shift after 40. Your liver's ability to process alcohol efficiently declines with age, meaning the same amount you used to drink in your 20s now puts noticeably more strain on your liver and stays in your system longer. Alcohol also disrupts sleep quality significantly, and after 40, quality sleep becomes even more crucial for hormone regulation, cellular repair, and mental clarity. Beyond that, alcohol is calorie dense and can contribute to that stubborn midsection weight gain many people struggle with in their 40s and 50s. If you enjoy drinking socially, that's completely fine, but being more mindful about frequency and quantity can make a real difference in how you feel day to day, including your energy levels, your skin, and even your mood. The sixth food to watch closely is excess dairy, particularly full-fat dairy products consumed in large quantities. Now, dairy itself isn't inherently bad, and for many people it remains a valuable source of calcium and protein, but after 40, some people start developing increased sensitivity to lactose that they didn't have before, leading to bloating, digestive discomfort, and inflammation. Additionally, high consumption of full-fat dairy has been associated in some research with higher cholesterol levels, which becomes a more pressing concern as cardiovascular risk naturally increases with age. This doesn't mean everyone needs to cut dairy out entirely, but paying attention to how your body responds to it and perhaps shifting toward lower fat options or plant-based alternatives can be a smart adjustment worth considering. Sign number 7, and this one might surprise you, is excessive caffeine, particularly multiple cups of strong coffee or energy drinks throughout the day. In your 20s, your body might bounce back from a caffeine overload fairly quickly, but after 40, caffeine can start interfering more noticeably with sleep quality, even if you consume it earlier in the day than you think is safe. Poor sleep, in turn, affects nearly everything, from your hormone balance to your appetite regulation to your ability to concentrate. Caffeine can also elevate blood pressure temporarily, which matters more when your baseline blood pressure is already trending upward with age. This doesn't mean you need to give up your morning coffee entirely, Plenty of research actually shows moderate coffee consumption has health benefits, but being mindful of the timing and the total amount you're consuming daily becomes increasingly important as you get older. The eighth food group to reconsider is high sodium packaged and canned foods, things like canned soups, frozen dinners, and salty snack foods. These products are often loaded with sodium as a preservative and flavor enhancer, frequently containing far more salt than most people realize when they're not carefully reading nutrition labels. As mentioned earlier, blood pressure naturally tends to rise with age, and consistently high sodium intake makes it significantly harder for your body to keep blood pressure within a healthy range. Beyond blood pressure, excess sodium also causes water retention, which can leave you feeling puffy, bloated, and uncomfortable. Cooking more meals at home using fresh ingredients, even simple ones, gives you far more control over your sodium intake than relying on packaged convenience foods. Number 9 is artificial trans fats, which are still found in some margarines, packaged baked goods, and certain fried snack foods, even though many countries have worked to phase them out over the past several years. Trans fats are particularly harmful because they simultaneously raise your bad cholesterol while lowering your good cholesterol, a combination that significantly increases your risk of heart disease. After 40, your cardiovascular system is already dealing with natural changes related to aging, so adding artificial trans fats into the mix creates unnecessary additional strain. Checking ingredient labels for the words partially hydrogenated oil can help you spot and avoid these harmful fats hiding in otherwise ordinary looking snack foods. And finally, food number 10, the one I promised would surprise you, is excessive red meat, particularly when it's a daily staple rather than an occasional meal. Now, this doesn't mean red meat is inherently bad or that you need to become vegetarian. Red meat does provide valuable nutrients like iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. However, research has consistently shown that consuming large amounts of red meat regularly, especially processed or well-done red meat, is associated with increased inflammation and a higher long-term risk of certain cancers and heart disease. After 40, your body's ability to manage chronic low-grade inflammation becomes increasingly important for preventing many of the diseases we associate with aging. Simply reducing your red meat intake to a few times a week rather than daily and incorporating more plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, and fish can make a meaningful difference in your long-term health outcomes without requiring you to give up something you enjoy entirely. Now, I know this might feel like a long list and you might be wondering if you have to give up everything you love the moment you hit 40. The honest answer is no. This isn't about perfection or deprivation. It's about awareness and moderation. Your body after 40 simply requires a bit more thoughtfulness than it did in your 20s, and small, consistent changes tend to matter far more than dramatic, unsustainable ones. Start by picking just 1 or 2 items from this list that you know you consume regularly and focus on reducing those first rather than overhauling your entire diet overnight. Pair that with staying hydrated, getting regular movement into your day, even something as simple as a daily walk, and prioritizing quality sleep, and you'll likely notice a real difference in your energy, your digestion, and even your mental clarity within just a few weeks. If this video gave you something to think about or maybe made you realize you've been eating one of these foods a little too often, drop a comment below and let me know which one surprised you the most. I read every single comment and it genuinely helps me decide what to cover in future videos. And if you found this helpful, please share it with a friend or family member who's also navigating their health after 40, because this information could make a real difference in someone's life, and sharing it costs nothing but takes just a few seconds. Make sure you're subscribed here at Dr. Vilson so you never miss the next video, because we're going to keep breaking down practical, science-based health information one video at a time, without the confusing jargon and without the fear-mongering, just real information you can actually use confused. Take care of yourself. Be mindful of what you're putting into your body, and I'll see you in the next one.